Alright, day 2, forms of energy. Today's going to be a nice short video because you're actually going to be working on a project today. It's called the Energy Robot Creation Project, and kids really like this because you get to be very creative because you're actually going to create your own robot that uses some of the forms of energy that we have been talking about yesterday. So here's an example of a finished project. This page in your packet is page 4, and you'll see that it's basically like a planning page that looks almost identical to this. So basically, you're going to be creating a robot that is colorful and detailed, and then writing a paragraph about your robot that shows that you understand at least 3 forms of energy that we have talked about. And I will be grading specifically that you are labeling those forms of energy on your robot and also describing them. So you can see that this robot, his name is Herbert, and he has 4 different forms of energy: light energy, sound energy, thermal energy, and mechanical energy. Now, mechanical energy we didn't really talk a whole lot about yesterday, but there are some resources in these slides that will help you learn more about that one if you choose to use it. So this student has chosen 4 forms of energy, and then they say, my robot's name is Herbert, but I just call him Herb. He produces sound energy when he says good morning to me. So notice how it describes why that is sound energy, and it's because he is actually speaking and making sound. Herb uses thermal energy to make pancakes and hot chocolate, which he brings to me using mechanical energy. So thermal energy because of the heat and the hot chocolate, right? And the mechanical energy is like movement, and he's bringing the pancakes and hot chocolate to him. When Herb is happy, his blue light flashes and produces light energy. So it's showing why that's light energy, because there's flashing of blue light. I think Herb is the best robot in the world. Would you like to have a robot like Herb? So you're going to be very creative like this student was. You're going to create your own robot. You can be as creative as you want. I just want it to be colorful and detailed. I don't want it to be like a 5-minute sketch. I want it to be, you can obviously tell this took some time to draw. And then you're going to write a paragraph about your robot. And you must use at least 3 forms of energy. Now this example uses 4. When it's all said and done, you will have learned about 6 forms of energy, so at least half of them must be included in your robot. And your page 4 is where you're going to be kind of planning this all out. And I know that in page 4, there's not a whole lot of room for you to draw your robot in that box. So if you want to draw it on like a white sheet of paper or a computer piece of paper, that's fine, so you can make it even bigger. And then if you want to, you can, on page 4, use that space to plan. But ultimately, you're going to be filling this in digitally. So you're going to be taking a picture of your robot and inserting it here, and then you're going to be typing your paragraph. So for example, let's say you take your picture, and here's your photo of your robot. You're going to put it in this box right over that, so it's going to cover the text. And then you're going to type your paragraph. So like, you're going to give your robot a name. You know, my robot is named Herbert. And then you go ahead and start describing your 4 forms of energy. Now you must use your 4 forms of energy in your paragraph. So you can't just say, he has a light, or whatever, and he makes sound, or whatever. I want you to specifically say, he has a blue light that creates light energy. And I prefer if you actually even underline each time that you use a form of energy. That way you know you have to use at least 3. So that will kind of emphasize that you are using a form of energy as you're typing. Now obviously you're going to keep typing, blah 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 blah, and then you'll have this whole paragraph that's going to probably take up the majority of this slide. I can't imagine this being any shorter than 4 to 6 sentences. So if you have any less than 4 sentences, then I'd be a little bit concerned. You might need to revisit it. Anyways, here are the directions. I just want to make sure that we all understand. You must use 3 of the forms of energy. It can be electrical, sound, light, mechanical, thermal. Another one is magnetic, like we talked about yesterday. You're going to collect the information about each type, and I have a whole bunch of resources here if you would like to learn a little bit more about some of these, or at least get your brain going and brainstorming different forms of energy that you could use for your robot. And then you'll use what you learn to design your robot, and it must produce at least 3 forms of energy. You'll draw and label your robot just like how you saw it in the example like this. So point it out that that is sound energy or that is thermal energy or whatever. Make it very clear to me that you understand where on your robot, and then you're going to upload a picture of your robot the way that you typically do it. Insert image, camera. Make sure it's neat and colorful. That's not just this 5-minute drawing. I want to make sure that you're spending time on it. And then type in the text box all the features of your robot and underline the forms of energy, and make sure that you have at least 3. Alright, so let's see how you will be graded. This is the last slide in your Google Slides. So at the top, I used to have this planning page that I used to grade, which is basically page 4. I'm not going to be having you submit a photo of page 4. I recommend that you plan it all out on page 4. You don't even have to draw your robot on page 4. You just have to draw it on some sort of white piece of paper or whatever. But basically, instead of 100 points for this, is going to be out of 60. And so you're going to get 20 points for drawing your robot. Making sure that's colorful, that you have each one of those forms of energy labeled, and it has the details as well. You'll have 20 points for your paragraph, that it explains at least 3 forms of energy and the features of them. And again, originally it used to be on the planning page, but it's kind of up to you if you want to plan that all out and handwrite it on page 4, but I want it typed into your slides. And then your paragraph, as long as you are writing complete sentences, that you have appropriate punctuation, which is like commas and periods, that you capitalize the beginning of your sentence, all the stuff that you learned back in like kindergarten, 1st grade. That should be an easy 20 points. A total of 60 points. And then I will let you know what that would be, like a level 4, 3, 2, or 1. Obviously, with a denominator of 60, there's a lot of points there. So make sure you take your time. That this is not a project that's even due today. It's actually due tomorrow on your asynchronous day. So you're going to start it today. If you finish it today, great, but I would assume that this project is going to take you at least an hour to do. So don't rush through this and think it's going to be like a 10-minute project. Again, I'm giving you today and tomorrow. It's going to be due tomorrow. There's nothing new for science tomorrow, so it's literally just going to be finish your energy robot project. Have so much fun with this. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And I can't wait to see what you come up with.